my sister was one of the people that would remind me and say, are you doing this your journal? Have you gone back to it? Have you finished? Where are you on this? That was my checkpoint to know that I'm not losing sight of what I had and forgetting it for what I have right now. So always go back to the drawing.
Oh yes, it's yet another episode of Living the EQ Life podcast. As you all know, we've been having bold conversations, and we will have a bold conversation today on living boldly. And the whole idea is, what does it take to be courageous, to be you, to be authentic, to be true to your path? What are those things you need to do? What are those things you need to be mindful of? And so we'll be talking about mindfulness, vulnerability. So, we'll be having a whole lot of conversations around living boldly, being authentic, true to yourself, staying your course, being vulnerable, asking for help, being teachable, and a lot more. Just stay tuned. We have amazing people here. My friends, as usual, like I told you all, we're having my friends who are very aligned, in mindsets, very aligned in driving positive and valuable conversations. And so today we have our very famous, world famous Black, Daniel Black. And of course, we also have today with us for the first time, we have Tokpe. Temi Tokpe is here as well to share with us her wealth of knowledge. Yes, Temi Tokpe is actually here to share her wealth of experience with us. We would have cause to learn, unlearn, and just get value. So stay with us. Don't forget, subscribe, share, like, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your friend, your cousin, your brother, everybody. Just in fact, they should even join you and watch this episode. It's very important that they join you here. So stay tuned. So, like I was saying, the whole idea of living boldly, is looking at how you can be very courageous in what you set out to do today, regardless of what the society thinks, regardless of what people around you think, regardless of your passion, your purpose. You tell yourself, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I actually want to do this because of certain reasons, because of some set objectives, and I'll go ahead with it. What comes to you when the whole idea of living boldly? Yeah.
Living boldly for me will be not being scared to be different. You're okay with being unique. You're okay with being who you are. You're okay with being like, we're in a place that we have culture, we have set norms.
Yeah.
About things should be done this way, things should not be done this way. We have so many rules governing whatsoever we're doing. As that is good, it can also be limiting. And the truth is, not everybody can do it the same way. 6 plus 2 is 8. 4 plus 4 is also 8. So at the end of the day, you're not scared to be different. You're not scared to be unique. And when I say different and unique, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm not saying that you're coming out to say, I'll put a very controversial topic nowadays, and that people say is like, where some people wear some kind of clothes and they're like, why are you dressing like this? A normal person that all of us badge in this world is a Rasta. Why does she wear this kind of... everybody has one thing or the other to say, but you being true to yourself. And it's not that you're being misleading or you're going about it the wrong way, but you're just saying that this is the way I have tried. This is the way I want to try this thing, and I want to see where it will end to. And that thing, change, is what has even... Look at the way Internet of Things came about. When it was starting, computer started, Abby. They started with the normal computer that you put down, everybody's Googling and whatever. And now you have ChatGPT, you have all these people were people that felt that, let's do something different. Rather than us just waiting for letters to be coming. Yeah. Let's do something different. We can create emails. Those are people that craved for a change and they stood up for it. And so I'll say for me, living boldly can be you just saying, I want to create change. I want to be an atom of change.
Let me go to Black. Our very own fine Black.
Like beer.
All right. Living boldly. So, what resonates with you?
Yeah, so basically, I want to agree with Tokpe right? Living boldly just talks about not confining yourselves to the restrictions of society or of already laid down rules. Living boldly is living your truth. Living boldly is understanding your persona and living to the fullest of that persona, right? Because remember back in history, or back then, so many people lived in the shadows of either their parents in terms of profession. So many people lived in the shadow of their culture because this is what they were born into. So many people lived in the shadow of their religion. So many people lived in the shadow of peer pressure and so many other things that restricted full expression of oneself. But so we've come to a time in life where living boldly has become a very big norm. For you to be able to give full expression to your purpose, you need to live boldly, because there's nothing, no matter how noble you're doing, that you would have everybody support you. You will have those elements of dissent. You will have those people that for whatever reason ganging up against you to discourage you. You will also have natural forces making you feel it's not possible. So living boldly is saying it is possible. Living boldly is seeing the I am possible in the impossible, right? So I think that's what living boldly largely means. And it's important that every young person, everybody trying to do a thing in this in this present time, identify or consciously decides to live boldly. Because there's so much noise and so much distraction in the world today, so much dissenting voices, that if you're not conscious of the fact that you have to live boldly, you will unconsciously just cower to the restrictions, cower to the things that will press you down, and in the end of the day, you'd be on a final note somewhere, either in a sick bed or somewhere, and have 1,001 regrets.
Wow. So what would you say hold people back? So there's some people who are not dramatic. They don't intend to cause any drama, but they find it very difficult leaving their comfort zone for some reason or the other. What is that thing that comes to mind when you think of people who do not, take on that bold step?
For me, the first thing would be the fear of unknown, the fear of the unknown.
And the fear of the unknown is really all encompassing. So
It is. In all, I'll give you a very something has not happened, but you're already scared that you're already overthinking it. That if I take this step, what if this happens? You're giving yourself all the scenarios, and that comes with also our mindset.
Yeah.
What's your mindset on? Is it on the negative? That's why they used to say some people see the glass half full, and so some people see it's
Half empty.
half empty. So it depends on the way you're looking at it. But I think one of it is the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. If I try this, will people accept me? Will they reject me? Will they support me? Will they push me out? And another thing is, some people are even scared of what they already know. Maybe somebody did it this way. It didn't work out.
It didn't work out for the person.
And now you're feeling like, if I try it again, it might not work for me. At the same time. And then I will go the same way this person went. So I think fear is a normal adage to hold people back from whatever they need to try or whatever and you mentioned something about comfort zone. It's so sweet. People stay in comfort zone because it's so easy.
Very comfortable.
A lot of people are still in that job today because it's their comfort zone.
Yes.
They know that if I try to put my resume out, or if I take myself out there, it might be better. But what if I don't have this kind of colleagues again? Or what if do you understand? Or what if I don't have this kind of colleagues that they will cover up for me? Do you know how many years I've been here and everything like that? I already have this one going for me. And it comes to a point that what if you are now forcefully pushed out? What are you going
happens?
to? Exactly. So at the end of the day, just this natural phenomenon of just fear. And you overthinking things. You're looking at your age. Imagine somebody at 35 wanting to start a new career. Even
but it's possible.
It's very possible. But what will Yoruba people say? Kilo Mbaka, what are you looking for? Where are you going to? You already have this working for you. Do you understand?
Just stay there.
That when she was telling everybody, I want to live where I'm working, I want to stay there. There's no job
anywhere.
Do you understand? So people, and that's another thing. People inflict their fears. They inflict it on you.
They project it
on you, and they make you feel like so. And that's why my mom will always say something. She said, be careful who you tell your dreams to. Because they are dream starters and they are dream killers. There are some that immediately you said it will not sell. It will not sell. Just forget it. She told us a story about a man that he was the one that first got the vision of making bottled water. And he got that vision of just putting water in a plastic. And he told it to maybe his wife, or right? I've forgotten who he told it to. And that one was like, water is everywhere. There's tap everywhere. Water is running everywhere. You want to put it in plastic. Who will buy when they can fetch it from somewhere? And because of that, he was just like, you know what? It's true. There are taps everywhere. That was when Nigeria was, that Nigeria we didn't say now. But that one. There's tap everywhere and there's water. So why am I bottling? And I think a year after, somebody started it.
And today, bottled water is a thing.
And bottled water is a thing.
It's a thing.
It would have been a pace setter in that field.
Just driving that.
It would have been a pace setter. And that's why whatever is holding you back at this point, the fear of the unknown, as long as you have that idea, just know that that idea came to you for a reason, because you can actualize it. And that's why you must take that bold step to want to live it out. At least, I hate saying, I hate regretting that I didn't try. I will try. Yeah. If it doesn't work, I'll know that I tried. But at least I'm going to give it a try.
A shot. Yes.
So I think that's.
So for you, Black, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
So I completely align with the things she has mentioned. I just want to add.
But it's quite interesting that you're actually aligning, because you hardly align.
I watched the other episode where he was going.
And him aligning with, I'm like, wow, Black is aligning.
So no, when sometimes you have to align with thoughts. So of course we are talking about life values here, and yes, it's not abnormal to come in contact with someone that also thinks in tandem with what you're thinking. And from the list of things she has mentioned, I just want to add something that I think is also very critical is self-doubt, right? Apart from that external fear that people project, apart from the fear of what people would say and all of that, is self-doubt. That thing we call imposter syndrome. Yeah. It really, really holds people. People feel, am I qualified for this? Can I really do this? This dream, is it not too big for me? And you see, that's where living boldly comes in, and you put your best foot forward, and you're like, if anybody can do it, I'm the person that can do it, and you get to do it. So I think imposter syndrome has held so many people back. The example she just gave, right? I think it was imposter syndrome, because even though his wife discouraged him, I think if he had that internal drive where he felt, even if it's a novel thing, I can introduce it. I think that's something that can also push. So while we treat the fear that comes from external. All right, so I think one of the ways to actually fight this self-doubt is clarity of purpose. Yes.
Clarity of purpose.
Let's drink to this, please.
Yes. Nuggets from
that. Yes. So as I was saying, if your life, you have to understand what you want in your life. You have to understand what your purpose is, what you want to do. You may see somebody, admire somebody, want to copy somebody, but how does that thing you want to copy actually align with what you want to do? So once you have clarity of purpose, I think you would have solved the imposter syndrome like 90%, and you just need to motivate yourself, and then you will now go and face the external things that hold you, like that she has listed. And then of course there's the cultural norms, there's the religious norms, there's the societal norms, all of them holding you back. In our village, nobody has done this. In our church, nobody has done this, or in our mosque, or you cannot do this. And by the time you hear this, you cannot, you just have to understand that if you have clarity of purpose, you will know that I can do this. I really can do this. And that's where living boldly really, really resonates.
Wow. I think to add to what you said, clarity of purpose will also...
She's also aligning.
Will also...
Wow.
Clarity of purpose will also help you set necessary boundaries.
Oh, of course.
And that's key in
necessary boundaries. We need to drink to that. So I mean, being bold as well allows you to set necessary boundaries.
Oh, yes.
Boundaries are necessary.
It's part of living boldly.
Yes,
you have to be able to set those boundaries to say, as I am, this is the kind of person I am. I cannot do this thing. I cannot do that thing. You can't be everywhere. You can't be doing just anything.
You can't say yes to everything.
You can't say yes to everything. And that's where clarity of purpose comes in. Once you know what you are created for, once you know what you are gunning for, you know what is in front of you, you know the things that you're meant to do that will mold you to become that person. And that will mold you to get to the destination where you're headed to. And because of that, you're going to cut out a lot of things that are not necessary. Unnecessary baggage are not things you will carry. So
I really love this point she has brought about setting boundaries as a component to living boldly. You see, when you set boundaries, even peer pressure will not get to you.
yes.
Right? Living boldly. So you've decided to be the model married man, the model husband, and you
Yeah.
want to always be by your wife, you want to support her, you want to help her wash the plates, you want to help her cook food, and all of that. Maybe the typical men gang will like, guy, why are you
doing that?
Right. So by the time you want to live boldly, you've had an intentional, I want to live boldly decision for yourself. Those innuendos, those suggestions from your friends, it will
not
really
get to
affect
you.
you. Right. So thank you for bringing that up.
Because
Setting boundaries
you know where you're
critical.
going, and you know
Of
what,
course,
what
clarity
you
of
want in
purpose.
life.
Clarity of
Yes.
purpose. Yes.
Back to that.
Yes,
And that setting your boundaries, you having clarity of purpose, setting boundaries will also make you be vulnerable. In this time and age, a lot of people think you being add-on or you being a hard guy. I'm not saying what is in my mind. I'm not letting go of my emotions. I'm keeping it in check. You know, this one, if I'm high on emotional intelligence and this, they feel that is what living boldly is. But vulnerability also is living boldly.
Oh, of course. Ability
Being
to share your weak points.
Yeah.
Ask for help.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. That is
All
living
these things
boldly.
are part of living boldly.
Boldly.
You're living your life without questions. You're living your life able to say.
But you're doing that
"This making-"
without hurting the next person.
Exactly. You're being emotionally intelligent about that.
Yes.
So
because,
we need to also create that
because you're
line
living
that-
boldly.
Yes.
Your living boldly should not also be a negative
Exactly.
to the next
So
person.
while you're being authentic, while you're being bold about your life, you have to ensure that you're not causing harm to the next person.
And that's where it comes with when you're
Yeah.
vulnerable with your emotions. I've realized that people that are hurt, somebody said there's a popular saying that goes around that heal so that you don't bleed on another person.
No.
If you
Heal so you
that
don't bleed on another person.
person.
Oh wow. That's
Tops.
you see
that's
all
deep.
these
No, you got to
No,
drink to
you're
that.
not.
That's the custom.
all these things that we're all going around and bleeding on each other, it's because you've not healed.
So sorry, let's emphasize on that.
Yes.
Healing is not necessarily for you, or it's not just for you.
Yes.
Everybody.
The
neighbor.
purpose of healing is for your neighbor.
Your neighbor.
Yes.
So that you don't bleed,
You don't
onto
bleed
the
on
next
them
person.
or your
Yes.
children or whatever it is that you know. A lot of people say, oh, this is the way my father did it work for him? What was the result?
Yes.
Okay.
Heal
that trauma
from
and
that.
Yes.
Don't carry that trauma
Heal
and
from
come.
that before you start having children so that you don't pass on the trauma. You know, it's like a baton.
Yes.
Whatever you don't heal from, you give to the other person. And you are doing harm without even, you didn't purposely say you're going to do harm, but you're causing
Yes.
harm. So that also comes with you being vulnerable to come out and say, yes, this is the ideology I grew up with. It's not working.
So
I need to
acknowledging.
acknowledge it.
Accepting.
Accept and work
Being
on it.
intentional.
You understand?
Yes.
That's all these things are tales of you living boldly.
Boldly.
But sorry, let me interject here, and let me also bring to our notice that we should also be conscious of differentiating between living boldly and living radically.
Yes.
Living radically, right?
There are two different
There
things.
are two
Very
Yes.
different things, because like she has mentioned, acknowledge, and then of course you have to find out, does this thing work? So you don't just take out what you think you believe, which could be a factor of limitation to your knowledge,
Yes.
limitation to your experience.
Exactly.
And you say, this is what I'm doing. You also have to research. You also have to find out if this my purpose that I have found, right, is actually on the right track. Then so before you even decide on what you're living boldly, you also have to have a full knowledge, full understanding, clarity on this bold life you're living. You say, I'm somebody that likes to wear suits, right? And I want to be, everybody knows me as well. I just want to use that simple example, right? Now, the question is, this suit you want to wear, by virtue of the environment you found yourself, is this the most suitable outfit for it? Right? Or you say, I know if you wear suit. Or let me even use something that is more that we can relate. I know if you wear suit, or suit is an African man, is a white man's this thing. And then yet you say you want to be a banker. Yet you want to,
and you have to wear suit.
You have to wear suit, right? Or you want to be a lawyer and you have to wear suit to court, right? Yeah. So when we say living boldly, yes, live boldly, but differentiate. We have to remove the thin line.
Yes, it's blurry.
It's a blurry line
Yes.
between living radically, living
living
rebelliously,
boldly.
and living
Yes,
boldly.
and
Because some people are, you are directly going against what you thought because you felt what you were thought was wrong,
Yeah.
and you're fighting it with everything you have. But when we say be authentic to yourself, be true to yourself. There's nobody else that can be true to you than yourself.
yourself.
Sit with yourself and be truthful. This thing I'm running with,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, will it pay me?
Will it
Will
pay
it
you?
work for me?
Yes.
Am I being true to myself? Is this what I really want? A lot of people think they're living boldly, but they're living hurts. They're living pains. So and that's where I come from. You, from whatever it is that is limiting you, face your fears and be bold.
Wow. So, I mean, we have had this conversation, and I think it's been laudable so far that people are able to get value from these perspectives, looking critically at the angles we have come from, the setting boundaries, the clarity of purpose, the blurry line between being rebellious and bold, so that we don't mix things up. And the good thing about it is I'm sure people are able to listen into this and get value. So just for a parting shot so that we get right into it and people understand the perspective, I want both of you individually to imagine the version of your life that you have lived or you are living boldly as of today. So what is that thing you are doing? What is that life of yours you are living and that you think resonates with you? And you say to yourself, yes, I am living a bold life. I'll start with Daniel Black.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I want to give us a story, and this story is contrary to popular opinion. That so actually, I had set up, I was doing fairly well in Akwa Ibom State. That was back in 2018, 2019. Yeah, for an average Akwa Ibom young man, I was doing well. I had a car, was married, I was able to put roof over my family. And I woke up one morning and I felt I'm not okay. Akwa Ibom has, sorry, this is personal. I felt mediocre and I was going to relocate. Where am I going to? Lagos, Abuja. Okay, let's go to Abuja. I didn't have a job. I didn't have anybody that was calling me, contrary to unpopular opinion. From an episode where they felt I'm a product of community help. Yeah. So when I shared with my family, my mom and all that, I wanted to even my friends, everybody was like, "Do you have a job there? Or does your wife have a job?" What? As in, it came as a shock to everybody, and I'm thankful for the wife I married. When I explained to her that, babe, we need to move. I really, really need to leave. Uyo is making me feel I'm okay. When I know I'm not okay.
You want more?
I need more. I want more. If a little thing happens now, it can destabilize us. This facade we are living. So, and it took, that decision was a space of 2 months. We are moving. We moved. We came in. We did not even have a house. I had to come ahead of them. We rented a place before I moved them down and all of that. And 5 years down the line, I've not regretted that bold move. I have not regretted. My path has been able to cross with the kind of people I actually envisioned meeting and knowing. And it's been a progressive step all the way. So that had been one bold move I had made in my life that, despite when everything looked like it was an irrational decision, but I stayed true to it. And so far, so good. It's been a positive ride all along.
Thank you very much for sharing that very relatable and authentic story. Thank you. Tokwe, let's hear you.
I think one basic bold move I took was after I relocated back after schooling and I came back to Nigeria, I searched for a job everywhere, even if I knew that I always wanted to own my own thing. I wanted to do my own thing. And I was forced to this entrepreneurship life, but it's leading well. And last year, I sat up, I think 2023, I sat up and I told my sister, I want to work.
Okay, 9 to 5.
A 9 to 5. I'm already working. I have an event company. You know that. A lot of people know that. And I was like, no, I want to work. I want to build my resume because the goal I have for myself in future is when they're talking career, I want to be there. When they're talking entrepreneurship, I want
You
to
want
be
to
there.
be
I want to
there.
juggle both of them.
The best of both worlds.
The best of both worlds, and I want to work. And she looked at me and she said, okay, I'll tell everybody that I know. And she started raising the voice and everything. And last year I worked. So I feel for me that was a bold move. I actually worked in a place I had been eyeing, but I had no experience in. I'd been looking at the development space. I'd loved it. I would do NGO. I'll do NGO work. Few people that I've spoken to, they'll be like, there's no money in NGO. Or they'll just push it down and discourage me. But when this one came, I went after it and I got the opportunity, and it was a good ride.
Nice.
But the boldness to be able to juggle both my events, because majority of my friends, I didn't tell, and there's another thing, I didn't tell anybody when I was taking that move except my sister.
You were confident about
I just knew that
your decision would
exactly
be, and you wanted to face it head on with no naysayers.
Exactly. One thing I was gunning for was that I wanted to go back into the corporate world to shape. I wanted to get back into the career life to shape, to also help me in my entrepreneurship. When you've been away from career for a while, running a business, you're a leader. Like, you're the leader of your brand. You're the one leading it. You're the one making rules. Sometimes it's good to go back and learn. What has changed in this world? What has changed? What's the new innovation I can bring into my own? And that was my goal. But did I serve? I served. And it gave me fulfillment. And now, working in an NGO space has been ticked off my...
And you're enjoying it.
And
nice one.
I feel that's a bold move.
Yeah. I'm quite excited to listen to both of you, and I'm sure people listening are also getting something, getting good nuggets to say, hey, look, I can take this decision without fear, whatever it is, and just go for it. And somehow, should I say what will be?
I remember that episode.
Somehow, things will pan out.
So
but you do it. The idea here is you do it afraid. You do it with that boldness, that courage.
I wanted to. I know you're the one asking the questions, but I think I would have loved to get Tokbe's opinion on something.
What's
right? How far should we take boldness? At what point do we have to reevaluate a bold stand? At what point
return back to the table?
Probably return back to the table. At what point is boldness foolishness? I think I'd like to take an opinion on that too, because of course there are so many young people on a path.
They just keep running.
They keep running. They feel they are bold.
No evaluation,
right, and all of that. So I would love to get our opinion on that.
And for me, always go back to your drawing board. When you're starting off something, you have a reason why you're starting off this thing.
Why?
You have the mission, you have the vision, you have the goal, you have your objectives. Let that always guide your decisions. Are you going to build on it? Yes. But don't forget the reason why you started in the first place. And the moment where you're deviating away from that goal, you're losing track of why you are even doing this in the first place. And that's why I said, always go back to the drawing board. Number 2 is your circle, your safe space, your people. These are people that they know you, they understand why you started this thing, they understand why you're on this run. Sometimes they're going to be blowing that whistle. Don't be like that dog that will not listen before it gets to the grave. Listen when people are talking, especially the ones that you know they are your safe space. The ones you know that they are out for your interest. The ones you actually like. For me now, career-wise, I wanted to go back into career. I shared it with my sister. If she had come back to say, come on, this thing is beginning to take, I had something I set for myself even while I was working. I had people that were doing business, yes, that I was running, but I never stopped to not check base. I always went to all the events that they had. And I also had a goal for myself, even as at that, you're coming with this, at the end of the year, you're producing this. And I did it. My sister was one of the people that would remind me and say, are you doing this your journal? Have you gone back to it? Have you finished? Where are you on this? That was my checkpoint to know that I'm not losing sight of what I had and forgetting it for what I have right now. So always go back to the drawing board.
By the way, we should drink to that.
Yes.
Don't lose sight of what you have for what you're currently doing.
Yes.
We should cheers to that. I think that's very, very key. And to distill from what she has said, I think so. When boldness does not mean rigidity.
Yes.
You have to be bold to be flexible.
Flexible.
Yes.
You have to be bold, and then of course there may be one mission, but there may be different parts, and that is also boldness. So you don't have to hold on to something and say I'm holding on to this, and
I'm a bold person.
I'm living a bold life because EQ Life said we should be bold.
We should be bold.
EQ Life also lets you know that
You have to evaluate.
you have to evaluate. Consistently evaluate,
Yeah.
and
And
of course.
sometimes, just even add to what Ope said, that sometimes even that why, that objective sometimes need to be improved.
Improved.
To keep going.
That's
So you have to go back
Yes.
to drawing back, improve
Prove
it,
it.
tweak it, change it.
But
It's
then
okay.
it will not change you from the purpose why you started
the
it in
purpose
the
is
first
still,
place.
And
the
then-
end goal is still intact.
And then very, very key too is that the fact that you are bold does not mean you don't listen.
Yes.
That's
You
another one.
you listen. So when there's that whistle, when
That's
your
where that
friends,
flexibility comes in.
yes, when your friends are saying, "Guy, how you they do this thing?" You
Yes.
actually listen to what their opinion is.
Yes.
Your bold does not mean everybody's other opinion goes to trash.
Yes.
You listen
I
to
agree
it,
with you.
and
I
if you
agree
need
with
to,
you.
if you need to reevaluate, change strategy,
Yes.
right? Is it because you're pursuing money, you have lost total contact with your family?
Yes.
You now come back and say, "Oh, everybody's complaining that I'm not calling, I'm not
Yes.
doing this," and you have to find a balance and all of that. So, from what she has said, being
means-
bold does not mean you don't listen.
Yes, yes.
You
I
listen,
agree with you. I agree with
and then
you.
you
I
use
agree
your
with you.
master plan to be able
Yes.
to diffuse what you need.
And
and
I-
move
and
on.
I
Means you're
think-
teachable.
Yes, you are teachable. And I was going to give an example of that teachability. But the truth is, I mean, whilst we're rounding up now, the thing is, I have had time to go back because I do a lot of self audits on myself, and I get to go back to things I have done, things I want to do. And the good thing is, for every idea I have had, be it a project or anything I want to do, I can see that beyond my own idea, there's actually always an improvement because I've actually discussed with someone. I have people I go with, I have people I go to. You know, I have people I go with, I have people I go to say, hey, look at this idea. I mean, Black is actually one of those people. I mean, you can ask Black, I can wake him up 5 a.m. Read up. And they say, I'm just looking. I say, I've dropped something, read, you know. And he goes back to read and say, hey, look, can we do it that way? And the good thing is, because I'm always very open to those ideas, I don't see it as, any hijack or anything malicious. I see it as someone trying to improve an idea I have. And best believe, trust me, there is no idea, there's no improvement I have gotten from my friends, my colleagues to say, hey, look, this is an idea I want to do, and they actually improve that. It goes bad. It gets better. So in that boldness as well, that's where a lot of things, the vulnerability comes in, teachability comes in, flexibility comes in, and everything in between. But I think we've had an amazing conversation.
of
Yes, we
I
have.
really enjoyed this thoroughly. I hope you all did as much as we did, and you just all learned to, be bold, living
Bold.
boldly. Just be bold.
The EQ life is bold.
The EQ life is bold. I mean,
Very bold. Or
the EQ life is bold.
You should live boldly.
Yes, and that's why
sparkle.
we're having this podcast. That's why this podcast exists today. Something we've been always wanting to do for the longest time, and we're doing it. We're living boldly. We're bringing authentic discussions, conversations here, raw facts, and let's all learn, relearn, and unlearn. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe, comment, share, like. Tell your friend to tell your friend, tell your neighbor, a cousin, a brother, a sister. Tell everybody that, hey, look, living the EQ Life podcast is a thing, remains a thing, and we're here to stay.
Thank you.